All right. This video is a couple years old, but it just recently came across my feed. It's called why well it's black educated lanes failed to assert themselves. And she basically speaks about why the blame should be shifted, not so much towards women but more towards men. And we'll just get into it.
On a positive note. I know I definitely did. And I'm going to get right into this because I have a lot to say. And today, in my first video of 2017, I want to talk about the educated lane. And before you guys say anything, I did not come up with that term, okay? I never heard of it before coming online. I actually got it from several male YouTubers, black male YouTubers. And obviously, I'm using that title for the purposes of this video. And I want to talk about them today because recently, I've gotten a little spike in my subscribers and my views because of my recent colorism videos. And black men really online anyway, they really hate this shit. Like they're making videos about me, and the men who don't make videos, they're in my comment section, going on and on about how black women don't want educated black men, and how they never have liked the lames, and dark skinned women need to get over it, and blah blah blah. And how we all choose thugs over them, even though what they mean to say is the women that they want, the women that they're attracted to growing up, the women that they wanted to fuck, usually don't want them growing up, which is usually, Lakeisha from the hood with a fat ass and some big titties. But since I, in a lot of ways, represent Lakeisha from the hood, and I've dated, a couple of street.
All right, that first point is really not true. Uh, you look around. There are plenty of horrible looking women that get pregnant all the time. Men are a lot more get forgiving for not being a 10 than women are. So this idea that men are just not saying that some don't exist. You always have anything of definition that exists, but men for the most part do not walk around with the bitter, oh, the dime pieces did not like me, the fat ass women did not like. They'll take, men will typically take what they can get as long as it's not bottom of the barrel.
Dudes and a few lames throughout my early to mid 20s. I'm going to be honest about this. I'm going to keep it 100. No, Lakeisha with the fat ass from the hood usually does not want an educated lane. She doesn't usually want Dexter, who is in trade school, because let's be real, there are not a lot of potential doctors and lawyers coming from the hood and the inner cities where she's located.
And I heard this from a lot of female YouTubers, which is the standard is, if you're not going to be like a six figure guy, if you're not going to be, inventing some, revolutionary, black people world class tactics, then so what? What are you then? It's either you're the greatest of all time or really nothing. The way they would have described you.
Y'all like to pretend on here that us women from the inner city that you're attracted to are leaping over potential high earning professionals, in the hood. That's not really happening. That's not the case. They're not there. By and large, they're not there. So no, the potential blue collar brother that is there in the inner city does not get Lakeisha excited. Okay, Ray Ray and Pookie.
Listen to that point. Does not get her excited. Why? Are you thinking with people claim men think with, which is your hormones, or are you thinking with your brain and what could your offspring? I often ask women on Twitter, what's more important, your orgasm or your offspring's future? I never get that question answered.
Who's on the block, or Abdullah Muhammad X, who, selling bean pies and incense on the corner, who is a rebellious Hotep dude. One or the other appeals to Lakeisha more than the educated lame. Why? Because the Ray Rays, the Pookies, the Abduls, in some form or fashion, they have asserted themselves and made themselves the image of the black alpha male. Something that educated lames have failed to do. And, if you want to go back in history, because I know you guys love to do this, which I.
Aren't educated lames, blue collar guys, aren't they a form of a provider? What is an alpha male? Isn't providing part of it? Isn't providing a big part of it of alpha male? So how did they not assert themselves as alpha males if they are going out and being, the best providers that they could possibly be? How are they not asserting themselves as alpha males? Because they're not ultra aggressive?
hate I hate to do this. I was born in 85. Okay, I don't have nothing to do with anything before that. You know what I mean? But we can bring up Black Wall Street in the early 1900s and, Marcus Garvey. We can bring up the 1960s, where segregation kind of forced the black man and the black family to be more unified and organized and disciplined and more community minded. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. But after the civil rights movement, along came, the Black Power movement, where the Black Panthers kind of asserted themselves as the alpha male of the black community, the rebellious, fuck the system, fuck the white man, and they were the revolutionaries of the community.
Why is not following rules always the turn on for women? I don't understand that. Does not following rules automatically make y'all think that somebody is a leader because they didn't follow the prior rules? That's just stupidity. Not following rules does not equal. How does that equal alpha? It doesn't. Like, just I don't understand this reasoning that women put to the forefront. I don't understand this.
Before we became more integrated into society. Then of course the war on drugs, and we had the black exploitation era, where the rebellious pimp and the drug pusher was the alpha black male, right? Then of course hip hop was born thereafter, and that's when black rogue males really managed to take over the image of they were considered to be the black alpha male, right? They asserted themselves. They came out with hip hop. They came out with revolutionary rhymes and, fuck the police, and all that shit. It made black women really believe that a black revolution was going to happen. I personally wasn't one of these ones that believed that, but, they did establish themselves as being, the noticeable black strong male. That's what they appeared to be, right? The alpha male, black alpha male. They wanted change. They went against the oppressive white supremacist system and the white man. So of course black women found them to be appealing. They weren't assimilationists like the educated lame. They weren't trying to blend in with the oppressive white power structure. Okay, and the educated lame, they got no respect for assimilating into white society, getting an education, getting a job and a car. They got no respect for that. Now, these rogue males, don't get me wrong, they didn't get anywhere. They didn't make good on their promises. But what they were doing at the time, by asserting themselves and getting that promotion, is why they were more appealing, or why that type was more appealing, or a man that appeared to be that type was more appealing to black women. They had the quote unquote swag, they had the charm.
So they had flash. No substance but flash. No results but flash. No walk but talk. That sounds about right in accordance to what still happens today. How do y'all how do y'all make these decisions still today? Even it was bad then, but you make the decisions today. I don't know how you even try to explain it and justify this.
they had the appeal, to get black women, that educated lames did not have. And of course, um, black women at that time, we had mouths to feed. Okay, little black power babies needed to eat, right? And black men weren't getting any work like that, yet they were still making babies. So of course, black women, a lot of them joined.
Which ones weren't? Blue collar guys, educated lames. They didn't get work either. Nobody got work, or are you just solely talking about the guys who had all the flash but no substance? Who didn't have work? Because I'm sure the educated lames and blue collar guys had work. I'm sure they did.
The welfare role, okay? Because let's face it, black men as a collective weren't offering, a better alternative. So of course they got welfare, they got WIC and whatever else. And whenever y'all bring that up, it's like I'm confused as to what you expected black women to do at that time. And then you get mad because black women gave up on you and became quote unquote independent and kind of shifted their focus on the role of the woman with feminism and womanism. I'm just trying to put myself as a black woman, and it's like, what did you expect them to do? Then,
The same thing we tell y'all to do today. Pick better guys. That's always the message. Stop picking guys who are going to leave you in a situation and have several kids by either one or several of these guys, and pick ones that actually set you up to not be on welfare. That is the state. That is what we say you should be doing.
you felt like we betrayed you because, black women went on Oprah and complained about what they were going through, trying to take care of them damn babies by themselves, or with little help from the government. And, it's like, and black men helped create those kids. And it's like they were doing the same thing that black men do now online, voicing their frustrations with black women. But I'm really trying to figure out how you expected these women to respond to their situation. I'm not saying that was the smartest thing to do, to get on there and quote unquote throw your men under the bus. But how did you expect them to feel? And throughout all of that I mentioned, how were black women just supposed to know better and have all the answers? And see, when they talk about this kind of stuff, they don't want to put it in context because, they want to blame all of the community's problems on black women. They don't want to have to look at themselves as men. They don't want to do that. And hey,
again, we don't put all the blame on you. When we say pick better guys, that means the guys you pick were not good ones. That's putting blame on the men right there. I don't know why y'all keep jumping over that point, that finger point that's right there, but it's there. We're pointing to them, saying that they were trash. You picked them. Don't pick guys like that anymore. That is us telling you that portion of the men population was bad. That's our judgment on that.
I'm the first one to say, yeah, in the last 20 years or so, after seeing all of these failed examples, yes, black women should know how to choose better. We've seen too many examples by now of, these rogue males never making good on their promises. They don't take care of their kids. Okay, I was born in 85. I grew up seeing that shit, and I was like, hell no, this is not going to be my life. But if you're trying to reach all the way back in history, after slavery and whatnot, tell the whole story or be quiet. Black women just didn't betray black men. They weren't just mean, evil people. We behaved just like any other group of women would have behaved if they were in our situation. Okay? And is it the black woman's fault that, lames didn't promote themselves and make themselves the standard and demand their respect and pursue power, and become a force to be reckoned with? Is it our fault?
So being educated and being in a position to where you can have what it is that you want, at least what you can buy, I guess. Being in a position to be promoted within a established company, being an established person in an established company, that's not power. That's not powerful. How is it not? How is that not being assertive? Taking your own life by the horns. How was that not? That is absolutely assertive. Just because you didn't want him does not mean he wasn't assertive with his life. It does not mean he accomplished goals. That's not assertive.
They didn't make themselves stand out over the rogue males? Is it our fault that you didn't collectively become influential trendsetters like other groups of men? You know, how arrogant and cowardly and entitled you all must be to really blame all of that on black women. Like, what exactly would have made black women choose you over these men? Granted, none of them were really doing anything, but neither were you.
What would have made women who are going to get pregnant or who already had children choose someone who um, accomplished things over somebody who says that they will accomplish things? What would make you choose that guy? I don't. Sarcasm. I don't know. I don't know.
Like, with all of the conditioning that was taking place, what would make black women know to choose you or even want to choose you? Like Sarge says, white lames built Silicon Valley. Why didn't black men put together a plan and get themselves together? Like he said, why didn't black men have the same sense of urgency like other groups, you know, who were able to bounce back after being colonized or being oppressed? And I'm not speaking on it as if it will, you know.
Because those black men were doing very well with what they needed to get as far as women goes, with not actually accomplishing anything. As you said before, the ones who were accomplishing anything were doing so without you, without your attention, without your desire of them. So, I mean, that's how was that not on you? How was that part not on you? The guys who could do something you didn't want. The guys who didn't do anything you flocked to. How is that not on you?
Should have been easy or a piece of cake, but don't minimize what black women went through either. Don't minimize that, because to me that's being dishonest. And before you say, oh, it's all the black woman's fault because, you raised these men and these boys, black women joined the feminist movement and ruined everything. No, you should have known better. Okay, I didn't know. Nobody teached me. We were manipulated and overpowered. That isn't a good enough excuse. And black men don't get a pass for not being in the homes to raise their children either. So since black women have to know everything and not be affected by white supremacy, or the conditioning, I don't know. We were manipulated and overpowered. Nobody taught me. That's not good enough. If
I'm not understanding what's not good enough. The blame on you that you went through was decision making. That's what you went through. I don't understand how you're not taking that blame and looking at it as if that was just so horrible for you to go through because you were conditioned to like someone didn't who just promised you stuff. And what platform what do you want black men to invent exactly? You want them to invent a whole nother platform of what? For what?
if we can't use the excuse of white supremacy, then you can't either, right? If we're gonna play that game, I'm saying, it's like you should have known better. You're a man. You should have been looking at what other groups of men were doing. Oh, you tried and they wouldn't allow you, to get loans and get capital to start your businesses. What about redlining? What about discrimination? No, should have found a way around it. No excuses if you want to play that game.
They did. Again, the ones you didn't pick went to college or had jobs and were stable. I mean, they did something. Did they conquer America? No, because a minority will never conquer America. But they did. Those guys, those men did their part.
And they love to say, oh, black men worked hard for their promotion, so, dark women should do the same. We don't owe you shit. We don't owe you any promotion.
You know who says that? Bitter guys, bitter people. When people have been pushed away for so long, they tend to respond like that. Especially when you go running back after you talk shit for so long. After you've pushed them away for so long, after you told them they were not desirable for so long, they tend to respond with bitterness.
As if they have solely been responsible for their own promotion as black men. You guys really need to cut it out. You guys need to cut it out on here. White men giving you a platform for your, black exploitation and your hip hop and your athleticism is not building an infrastructure for yourselves, as men and for your community and your children. In what ways are you actually?
You're using a dude on the screen who literally opened the school and sends as many kids to college as he possibly can. You're literally looking at a black man who actually reached back. And let's not forget that, Jay-Z, P. Diddy, guys like that, they are actually trying to obtain their own infrastructure or their own platforms of from the wealth that they gathered from white people. You really think that we can just, what we're going to do, create our own currency? How do you expect it to work? To literally build something from absolutely nothing? You need resources to actually do what you're saying black men should do. And then you go and use a picture of a guy who's actually actively this day doing it. And he was doing it when you made this video 2 years ago.
Responsible and in control of your promotion. In what ways?
So, being promoted as someone who actually had to even fight to get to the position before you get the promotion, that's not controlling your own promotion. Making someone who usually would see you as less than actually sees you as beneficial because you have accomplished that much, that's not controlling your own promotion. That's not earning your own promotion.
What if white men decided to stop promoting you as athletes and entertainers tomorrow? Then what? What would you do?
What if white men deleted your YouTube account? What this means? This point is irrelevant. If we're in their system, we're in their system, and we have to make their system work for us the best way we can, right? Why do y'all really think using brute force? Women always on YouTube will always say that using brute force and just black men just take over right now is the way to go. How? You know what resources they have, right? So playing it as you go is the way to go, right?
Would be asked out. That's what. Because based on your history, you most likely wouldn't have built any platforms, or you wouldn't build any platforms for yourself if they were to cut you off. And of course, I'm not talking about all black men. I know some of you guys are building. I know a lot of you have worked hard to get where you're at, and I, wouldn't take that away from you. But I do have a problem with these arrogant, online narcissistic men who are making themselves out to be more than what they are and making it seem like, black women are the only ones who fuck.
You have a problem with a small minority amount of black men, and you are doing the typical trash, all of them, history and now, because of like 2% of black men and what they say about you in like 2 videos.
Up and who are fucked up, and they're to blame for every bad thing that happens in the community, including all of your failures as men and supposed leaders of the community and supposed patriarchs. That's bullshit, you guys. Like, you're making videos saying that black men ain't got to do shit, and the black race is done, and black men don't owe black women anything. But at the same time, you want pleasant, cooperative women who follow your lead. Where are you leading us to? If the black race is done and you ain't gonna do nothing, where are you leading us to? It's like, and then you guys actually compare yourselves to your women. That's the craziest thing. Like, you expect them to do everything for themselves, but get mad when they continue to say they're independent and wonder why they don't respect you as leaders. It's because you don't want to lead. You don't want to do anything. You don't want the.
That's actually a whole different subject. The do everything for yourself, independent woman, but also be a partner. That has to be dissected so much. It's not even enough time to even counter counter that in this video. It would be like 3 hours long.
Task of having to lead. You don't want to put in the work. Again, not saying it should be easy, or I'm not minimizing it. I'm not a man, okay? But I've said it before. You all want leadership benefits without actually having to lead and protect and promote and provide everything.
That works both ways. There are men who want to lead but don't want the responsibilities, and there are women who want to be they want to operate independently but still use the man's resources. So both sides actually. It's not a man thing. That's I guess a millennial thing maybe.
That real patriarchs are supposed to do. It's like, instead of asserting yourselves and promoting yourselves as the standard educated lames, you sat back and you arrogantly thought that black women would just flock to you because you had a job and a car that the white man gave you. And I'm not saying that's a horrible thing to have, but in its stability,
Flock may be too strong of a word, but if you are a man and you have seen men being glorified as providers, being glorified as if you have the necessities to take care of a family, that you will be desirable. So if you are educated in language, I'm not. So don't think I'm this arrogant person just thinking that women would have flocked to him. But if you accomplish that goal, and I could see why you would think women would desire you more than like none, because you did. Uh, Again, you are a person who can provide and do all this other stuff. So yeah, it would make sense that you would then pump your chest out and go, "I'm probably going to get a lot of women that are interested in me." Maybe so.
it's legit. Like, I get it. Like, if black women were in their right minds, then yeah, that would have been the better choice. If neither one of y'all was really going to do anything, then of course the educated lane with the job and the car and the education should be a better choice. But in the climate that we were in, of like, why would we have chosen you? Just think about.
Because you just said they were the right choice. You just said yes, they were the right choice, but why would we choose you in that climate? Because they were the right choice. Because they were the right choice. Why choose the right choice is the question you just asked. Why would I choose the right choice? I have a more interesting choice. Not the right one, the more interesting one. Why would I choose the right one when I can choose the interesting one? That's the question you just asked.
It's very little that makes you different from Pookie and Ray Ray. And, I don't want to hear about white supremacy because, again, if black women don't get that excuse, then neither do you. Okay, now for those of us who can have an honest conversation about, how racism, white supremacy affects both genders and how, it affected us through history, we can talk about it. But for those of you who want to solely blame black women for the fall of the black race and, basically say that black men were these poor little innocent helpless victims that just didn't know any better and were manipulated, please, if black.
Nobody's saying that. If you are saying, you should have used samples, links, something to videos where people said that. Because I have not seen, and I'm on YouTube, that I don't have TV, I have YouTube. I haven't seen that one video where men said, well, actually, I did. Okay, I seen one account where men said, women were the absolute downfall and men were innocent. One. Other if you're basing off like two or three people out of everybody else on social media, on YouTube, you are cherry picking to make this video.
Women were supposed to know it all and be perfect, then why should I give black men a pass, for allowing himself to be conquered and manipulated, by white men? And
Nobody said be perfect. Nobody said be perfect. Having one mistake child as opposed to three is not asking you to be perfect. Having the amount of you that chose Pookie and Ray Ray to have babies by, cutting at least at the very minimum half, is not asking you to be perfect. Allowing no more than the initial generation to be affected by that way of thinking is not asking you to be perfect. It's asking you to improve upon decisions that you constantly made. And yes, that goes for the men too. It's not asking you to be perfect, it's asking you to do better. That's it. That's all it's asking you to do.
black women and for failing to make himself the standard. Like, why should I give you a pass? It's like you blame us for black men stupidly believing as men that black women were strong and independent, and didn't need a man and didn't need any help leading the community, and we manipulated you to believe that. Meanwhile, right in front of your eyes, the community is going down in flames. Like, black men are being targeted and killed, by white law enforcement. Black women and girls getting beat up by white law enforcement. Gentrification, discrimination in the workplace, so many other things, but you just thought that we had it like that. It's like, if this is how these arguments.
You threw those examples out there to follow with. You thought that we just had it like that. You didn't even say if any side addressed it at all. You didn't even say if there was a way around it. You didn't say you just threw it out there basically to say some shit about men, to men, whatever. It didn't, and this is very common. Men are trash. For what? A broad ass list of examples.
Are gonna go, I can be that girl. We can play that game. Don't expect me to call out black female fuckery on your behalf as men when you don't even have any empathy or compassion for black women. You damn sure don't care about colorism. You're trying to dox me on these videos and fake expose me, trying to find my personal information so you can release it to your audience. Really? All because I call out colorist black men. And mind you, I call out everybody. I don't leave anybody out. And when I'm talking about black female swirlers, you guys love me. But as soon as I get on colorism and colorist black men, you trying to dox somebody. And you expect me to only call out.
I haven't seen these colors videos of hers, but on a whim. From what I've seen, yeah, the black male swirlers, crap. The colorist black men, yeah, are absolutely in the wrong because they're generalizing. All right, that's it. But my question is, why do y'all even pay attention to those guys? Why do y'all let them? Not asking why you made the video, but generally speaking, why do black women, dark-skinned women, listen to those guys? They're such a minority that they don't even affect you. I had a dark-skinned girlfriend. I asked her personally because she let that shit bother her all the time. I said, have you ever in your history had a problem with getting a man? No. Why the fuck do y'all care that those guys are out there? Just to throw that question out there. Why do y'all care so much about those dudes?
Black women, for you, when you switch up that fast, nah, it doesn't work like that. And I see the black male support in the comment section. I see y'all. I see some of y'all. But as far as this online community of black males with the loudest voices, they making y'all look bad. I'm telling you. And I don't feel really any level of support from these men who know about me anyway online. I only get attacks on what I do. So forgive me if I'm becoming a little unsympathetic to what they're saying. How can you actually put it in your videos that black men don't owe us anything and everything's our fault, and then slam me for not calling out black women more than I do, because I do, okay? But you don't even want to hold black men accountable. Like, and you want to talk about being a hypocrite? Fuck out of here. You don't have my back, so I've been forced in this position. And, that is one thing that a lot of these ladies were on here telling me about you guys, and they were right. They were telling me y'all wasn't shit on here, and although I don't feel like I ever coddled black men or babied black men, I've never been a mammy, as they like to put it, but I was a little bit optimistic, and I'll admit that. But they were right. You guys online, y'all ain't shit.
Are we not? Because there are a bunch of online accounts that I've come across where they speak very evenly across both genders, black men and black women, both critically and uplifting. And then I've come across my fair share of YouTubers who are black men who shit all over black women. Or do y'all only pay attention to the second ones because it hurts? Because it's negative? Do y'all only do the typical human thing, which is pay attention to the negative? Y'all allow y'all own. I don't know if it's y'all insecurities or what y'all see. There's something about y'all where y'all will allow your mind to only pick up the negative you hear about yourself.
So going forward, don't associate me with any of these black males online. None of them. I don't care who I used to fuck with. I don't fuck with any of them anymore. And let's be clear, that's not only because of online black men. I've had conversations behind the scenes with black men, real black men, not these little boys online, but real black conscious men that have told me, you ain't got nothing coming from these black men. Collectively, you don't. No protection, no promotion. They don't care enough. And they certainly don't care about colorism. They tell me they can't find men to work with that actually want to build. So, yeah, 2017 is about supporting those who support me, male or female. Okay, and I said this in 2016 as well in my Love Black Men Conditionally video. But I'm saying it again in more detail here. And that doesn't mean I'm part of the, I hate black men, abort all black male babies club, That's not funny. I'm not laughing at it. I'm just saying I'm not part of that, It doesn't mean I'm going to start bashing black men. Doesn't mean I'm going to start advocating for swirling. But yes, I only support those who support me. And it has to be that way. And if you feel some type of way, I'm pretty sure you're one of those men who didn't support me from the jump. Because I see y'all jumping between, different comment sections. I see you over there under those men's videos talking shit about me. Then you come over to my chat.
What does support mean in this situation? Does it mean agree regardless? Does it mean see every single thing your way? And that's not how you build. Because if you agree on the wrong way to build, your structure is going to collapse. So, what does it mean? Doesn't mean agree with you or not. Doesn't mean kiss your ass or not. That's the question.